This Big 12 Game of the Week edition of the Big 12 College Experience for the Oklahoma State Cowboys and West Virginia Mountaineers on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. That's right. Underdog has pick-up scorchers where you can win 100 times. That's right. 5 into 500 in just one game, plus every Sunday they're giving away $100,000, and use that promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. Also brought to you by Game Time. Last-minute tickets, download the Game Time app, create an account, code CFBX, $20 off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today and start making smarter bets today. Last but not least, brought to you by the $3,000 NFL Second Survivor Challenge. If you had the Niners or Eagles last week, you better get over there, and it's because it's a contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Bark and Dog Properties. Free to enter by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. And welcome, everybody, back to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Game of the week is here. You know, we got the two best damn teams in the league. We got all that bullshit, Texas, Oklahoma. We're talking Cowboys, Mountaineers. We got my favorite team, my alma mater, obviously. I mean, you know, I've burned a couch or two over the days. I mean, please don't arrest me. But, hey, we're also talking my favorite fucking coach, and Coach Gundy. I have to root against him this week. But if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, both who are making news today on the interwebs, as Colby says, and join each and every episode. Another guy that's a Morgantown guy, but he was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family names Iowa, and he is a walking contradiction. Rambling Rush, let's go, man. What's up?
My computer and StreamYards are contradictions right now. I can't get any of the settings to drop me at the end of our Ryan and Rush broadcast. Get a little delayed getting on here. Thank you for your patience. I hope it's not going to happen again. But geez, it's definitely frustrated. Ready to make some second half adjustments into the podcast and get better now.
Second half adjustments indeed. And wondering, third man in the box, we had to get an Oklahoma State guy in here as well. We also have a guest coming on. We will bring him on here in a minute. But another guy.
We're about to tag team the shit out of you guys.
Yeah,
there we go. Nice cue on too.
You're going to need all the help you can get this weekend because he's a family civil war because he's got family in Stillwater and Norman. I know that's disgusting. He is the Big 12 guru. Troy, what's up, man?
Things are going all right. I was going to say, Rush, it's not just you with the StreamYard issues. It seems to be kind of everybody. So,
well, I had the twofer. I had the StreamYard issues, and then the Wi-Fi just decided, hey, let's add to this. Doesn't work. And then the hotspot.
Are the Leafs playing tonight? That's their big fighter guy. The nickname is Wi-Fi. That dude. If the Leafs are playing tonight, just bet him for like over 4 penalty minutes or something.
Ryan, I think people we got to ask Keaton if there's people at Oklahoma State. There's some Big 12 people that might be a little concerned with Morgantown trying to get in here and mess with our Wi-Fi. Maybe we're a pretty good team.
Yeah, no, a little dust up. I mean, dust up's good for everybody. But yeah, no, I mean, we were trying to start the show, and then the ads went down as well, so we couldn't start the show. So yeah, I mean, you know, we're all about adjustments over here. We're not the most technology savvy group, but you know, we do the best with what we got. But we're going to bring on our guests on the other side, but we got to get paid one last time before we dive into the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Because like I said, we're brought to you by SGPN Second Survivor Challenge for the NFL Gambling Podcast. And if you listen to me I told you the Browns and Jets were going to win last weekend. Get that Niners and Eagles shit out of here because they knocked them out. Let's go. Don't worry. We got you covered with SGPN Second Survivor, presented by Corey Pinkton and the Barking Dog Properties. $3,000 up for grabs. Winner take all starts this weekend. Second chance. Everybody needs a second chance in life. I mean, imagine if you could get a second chance on some of the dates that you probably haven't scored on. So get over there at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. And hey, the NFL Gambling Podcast is doing a review contest. So get over there, leave an Apple review. First TD bet related. Biggest winner gets $50 SGPN gift card. Make sure you include your YouTube username in the review so we can contact the winner. I mean, don't be Mr. Anonymous. Leave your email so we can contact you. Also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long, and we're introducing Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 simply and pick them with the nice spicy 100 times payout. Limited Underdog is extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $10,000 each. God damn, I need to win that. Troy, do you got one for any of the games tonight? You want to back some Jack State props? I mean, we got to go with our guy Rich Rod, right?
Who's Jack State playing? It's
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, WKU, and you got to think they're at home, right? You got to think Jack State is.
Yeah, Zion Webb, get over there
as an underdog. I heard Colby talking about it that he's all on Jack State. It feels like a good upset spot again for Rich Rod, and also at this time of year for him to be doing the coaching tryout. It's pretty good for him to pull this one off.
Yeah, it's bounced back. Western Kentucky, like Colby says, they run that cha-cha-cha offense. Let's go, game.
Cha-cha-cha is bullshit. Run the ball up the middle like a real man.
No doubt, guys. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe get a little bit of cash over on Underdog's mobile website, underdogfantasy.com, and use that promo code SGPN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, we've teased it long enough. Joining us on the Big 12 College Experience, you guys should know him over from the OKSTProbs. Keaton, how are you doing, my friend? And welcome to the Big 12 College Experience. I know you like that horns down logo. We actually need to flip the OU logo too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to be here, and I really appreciate y'all having me on. I know we were going through some technical difficulties, but I absolutely love being a part of the Big 12 culture. I think it's one of the best cultures outside of, what hell, everyone talks about how great the SEC is or the Big 10 or something like that. But I don't see anyone from any of those conferences doing what we do here best in the Big 12.
Absolutely. And that's something we've talked about, right? It seems like you see in the SEC and in the Big 10, Keaton, it's the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? This is the league of the middle class where everyone's duking it out week in, week out. It kind of represents the culture, right? We always like to joke it's the conference of truck stops, right? But we wear that with a badge of honor. One guy that I know wears it with a badge of honor, get right into it, good old Mike Gundy. Just when you think you can count him out, Gundy comes back and pops a couple off at home. Obviously the South Alabama loss, and then there he is, Gundy, right there.
Our boy.
And then our guy.
And then the Iowa State loss after that. Obviously, the Iowa State loss isn't looking as bad as it kind of seemed at the time, especially after the gambling scandal. But Campbell has those guys going as well. Kind of talk about, we talked about this on the show. Ryan's brought this up many times. Gundy might be the first coach that treats the non-con like the NFL preseason, right? Especially if you're not competing for a national championship. You want to make your mark. You want to, especially Oklahoma has this last year of bedlam in the Big 12. Talk about Gundy's adjustments kind of going from those, starting 2-2, then all of a sudden popping off against Kansas State and then popping off against Kansas.
Yeah. So it was the 3 quarterback system had some great content. That's for sure. Because we kept winning. So I was like, dude, this is no way we just beat Arizona State on the road in a night game and we used them as a scout team. That's insanity. But yeah, one of my big things that really frustrated me was obviously the 3 quarterback system was only fun for Twitter, but I just thought some more adjustments would come in. What I can say is I'm friends with a lot of the guys on the team, a lot of people within the building, and they just told me something snapped. After we lost to South Alabama, Gundy in his press conference compared himself to Nick Saban for running a 3-quarterback system. And it's tough because I love Gundy, and I thought that was like hysterical, but it really sucked. And then apparently he was like showing up to practice late and shit like that. According to my sources, some of the guys on his own staff, they were telling me this last weekend that he's spending like 13 hours a day inside the building, and like he's fired up. Hell, after the Kansas State game, he said we own them MFers on an Instagram Live or not win. So like, dude, he's just like, he gets me so fired up. Like it's so bad. Like anything he says, it's like, dude, this is gonna be tough to like defend at work tomorrow. But like, like I'm probably gonna have to do it anyways. So, but yeah, it's been a great turnaround. I felt like Alan Bowman was always the guy. I had him on my podcast. He's an awesome kid. He's Grapevine, Texas, right down the street from where I'm from. Texas Tech. He like lit it up there. And dude, the game in Morgantown, I freaking love West Virginia. Like it's some of the best fans you'll ever meet. Like it's so hidden from the world. Like I had to like fly into Pittsburgh and like rent a car and then like travel through a valley and then like creep past some bears. Like it was just absolutely insane getting there. And it's a great culture. My uncle, majority of my family's from West Virginia. Before my parents, which I didn't know till recently. So technically I'm a Mountaineer, which is dope. Yeah. A little reverse John Denver.
There you go.
So, I love the culture there. I thought it was awesome driving in, seeing all the furniture stores. Everything must go because y'all light couches on fire.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
I did not know the bars closed until 4 a.m. until the next morning. And I looked at my credit card statement. I was like, dude, I was drinking at like 3:30 in the morning legally. Like it was absolutely insane. So I love everything about West Virginia.
It's a great
those
place.
nights could get away from you.
It
only happened a couple times, Ryan, right?
Dude, I will say it was complete ass because I took West Virginia plus 2.5 last week.
Oh God.
Hey, how about this? Then I followed up with Colorado minus 11.5. So naturally, I went and bet on Kansas before the game. So I'm just
emotional hedge.
Yeah. Hey, if it's all going to go downhill, then it's going to go my way,
Yeah, no doubt.
So the funny thing you said was it's like something clicked from that Kansas State game.
Yeah.
Do you think it's as dumb as Ollie's our best player? Let's just give him the ball a bunch.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly a thing.
Because that's what it seems like as like a I'm not connected to the team or anything, but I just watch on TV.
Yeah, it's crazy because like whenever there's a downfall, I always have to like take a step back and think like, dude, there's no shot I know more about football than Mike Gundy does. And so but like while I was looking at it, I was like, shit. There's no way this dude shouldn't have the ball every single time we snap, right? Like just run a wildcat at this point. I don't care. Add a fourth quarterback to this, and it'd be Ollie Gordon. So, I mean, Ollie Gordon definitely getting touches. The defense acting the way they should, as if I was playing college football revamped, definitely helps. That's for sure. But ultimately, it's almost like just like a second win. Like the Kansas game, you look at the stat line, and their quarterback was whooping our ass until he looked at our student section and said, "First down, bitch." And so I thank him for that. But it was just like a second win. Like no way a quarterback who throws for 510 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then what? He throws 2 interceptions and a fumble. So I was like the defense stepping up. A lot of those yards from Ollie were check downs by Alan Bowman. So like it's almost like we're learning to win in different ways, if that makes sense.
No, completely. And I think Gundy's been as good as anybody in the country when it comes to that. You look at his resume, he's won 7 or more games in every year since 2005. Yes, 2005 is the last time Mike Gundy, everybody, did not win 7 games. So that gets me right into my question, Keaton. What's the fan base's, what's the right word? Feeling on Gundy, being there as long as he is? Like, it's to me on the outside looking at it, it's careful what you wish for. Like I know some people wanted him gone after South Alabama, or he's lost the locker room. He can't relate to today's player and all that. Kind of like Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. And it's like the grass is not always greener on the other side. Gundy's done an unbelievable job there, and he's found a way once again to turn it around. What is the fan base? Are a lot of people eating their words after back-to-back wins here?
No. People who hate Gundy. Yeah, people who hate Gundy have always hated Gundy. You know, I related a lot to the Spencer Sanders situation. You know, I'm pretty good friends with Spencer Sanders, and you know, when he decided to transfer after he chose Ole Miss, we talked for like 3 hours over whiskey and cigars about his decisions. And when we were losing with Spencer initially, everyone hated Spencer, and then there was like a fine line: either you supported him or you didn't. And that's kind of what it's related to with Gundy is like, yeah, it'll shut him up, but they're not going to eat their words. They're just waiting for the next time that he like sucks. And then they're going to be like, oh, I've told you this entire time. And it's like, oh, dude, we just lost the conference championship game. I don't think that means that, you know, we should definitely fire him, you know, but he's a very successful coach, and we don't recruit like ever. I don't think he's ever recruited a 5-star since he's been there. Yeah, the offseason's really, really boring for us because you don't know who our players are until they're good. So it's kind of wild. But on the bright side, Gundy hates playing freshman quarterbacks. So I thought he'd be fired up. It's like, dude, you don't even need to play these 18-year-olds anymore. We'll just find some dude like Brandon Whedon who's like 30 years old and just get him to transfer in every year. Like, shouldn't you be hyped?
Like Alan Bowman?
Yeah, dude. I was like fired up whenever we made that decision. I was like, dude, no way we got a ginger quarterback. Like right after Max Duggan just had a hell of a year. This is a great decision.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alan Bowman, and you know, we talked about the 3 quarterback system, and then obviously that not only did a switch turn for Gundy, he goes from showing up late to practice to all of a sudden doing keg stands in the locker room, or what seemed like that was incredible. But Alan Bowman too is part of that. I mean, he turned it on. He's slinging the ball around. Talk about just him and what he's capable of, and what you think of this program with his leadership.
Dude, he's the shit. Like
he is a cool guy.
And it's funny, you know, my girlfriend's a redhead, right? And my younger brother's a redhead. I grew up down the street from Fort Worth.
Burnt in your brain. The orange burnt in your brain.
My stepdad's in the Hall of Fame for TCU, so I grew up like loving Andy Dalton. So like I'm telling you all, it might just be like I'm a football guy, but like I call it intangibles. But I saw his hair and I was like, dude, no way, this dude sucks. Like I think we got our guy. But yeah, I mean, he's a veteran. You know, whenever he came to Stillwater, he actually had like 12 hours to make his decision where he was transferring. He was in Waco, and he was like, "Screw this! I want to go check out Oklahoma State." So they drove up from Waco immediately, and he didn't even look at a facility. He just went and watched film. And I don't know how much y'all know about like our air raid offense over the years, but it's literally like if you play Madden, it's like a dream. Like you never typically run the ball. Like, yeah, sure, you might have a stud like a Chris Carson or a Chuba Hubbard, but ultimately, like, they're tossing the rock. And that's a big reason these quarterbacks like coming into Oklahoma State, from the ones that I've talked to, is they like throwing the ball, which is kind of effective because that's a really big thing of today. Awesome. Hey, love that you're a redhead, Timothy Greene. But yeah.
Timothy Greene's the man. He's awesome. A good guy.
Love Timothy Greene. But yeah, so like I like his maturity. I like the way that he's kind of taken it. I feel a little bit more confident in older quarterbacks, especially in college football, just because, you know, their decision-making process can be a little bit better. And Alan Bowman's not taking sacks. He's only been sacked once in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Which is, it's funny that at this point, you know, they go into the bye week. I think the bye week came at the greatest time for you guys, especially with now you talking about Gundy being in the facilities carrying, like, you know, he went fishing and played golf and like shot guns on the bye week and was like, all right, we're good. Time to lock the fuck in.
With an OAN shirt.
Oh yeah. Well, it's OAN Gundy versus NRA Neal. Like it's the greatest matchup of the weekend.
Dude, nothing wrong with it, dude. Yeah.
Subscriber to the Big 12 college experience.
But
did Did y'all see the Trump rally during right whenever COVID was ending on Trump's terms in Tulsa, and the OAN crew wore OSU gear? Like, dude,
No, I didn't see that.
like, how do I not get fired up, dude? It's like, so, like
That's
everything he does.
fantastic.
I'm like, dude, it's just I'm a football, like it's football guy. Like, I feel you're a football guy. Like, you love Mike Gundy. But yeah, you were saying the bye week came at the perfect time.
Yeah, and the whole idea of, you know, everybody's focused on Alan Bowman now that they've gone to one quarterback, but it's really funny to think about, you know, Oklahoma State is Kendall Hunter, Justice Hill, Joseph Randall, like all of these running backs that are studs, and with the whole air raid offense, and it still ends up being Ollie, the guy that's making all the big plays. But it still comes back to the quarterback. And before that bye week, Alan Bowman wasn't hitting guys 35 yards down the field like he could kill a fly. Dude. And then in that Kansas State game, he made 6 or 7 A+ dime throws. And I was sitting watching TV, and Ryan and I are texting back and forth like, who the fuck's playing quarterback?
Yeah, I know. I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah, I mean, was there even anything in practice? Like, was there even anything in the bye week that was like, oh, yeah, we know we're going to Allen because he looked really, really good? Or was it just like, yeah, we settled on Allen, let's keep this all in-house?
Well, you know, back to what I was saying is like Gundy, like I said, I really have to sit down and be like, dude, there's no way that I know more than him. And so for him to not choose a quarterback over the offseason, I was like, okay, that's a little odd. And he told us beforehand he was going to run a 3-quarterback system. We were like, LOL, like, ha, right? Like, that would be funny. Like, that, could you imagine? But then, then he fucked around and did it. And I was like, Jesus. And so, yeah, he was he chose him, and he was like, yeah, we just felt like he performed the best in practice. And I was sitting there like, there's no way that like you just chose like randomly like on a Tuesday after like 9 months. Oh yeah, no, now he's our guy because of what, a couple practice drills. So I think he's always been the guy. I think that he just kind of left it up in the air, and you know, he's been real wishy-washy with his transfer portal. Dude cannot stand it. Like he hates it. And so I feel like he's a little nervous about player transferring out, so he wanted to look more like a competition. But I mean, I feel like we always knew, if that makes sense. And by the way, I'm so confused. What's up with the Go Pokes? And then you got all the West Virginia stuff behind you, Troy.
Oh, it's just one Eat Shit Pit shirt.
Love it.
I've been to Morgantown enough times. I mean, like you were talking about, you go to Morgantown one time and it's like,
fire.
Man, this is pretty fucking cool.
Fire, dude.
We adapted him. Yeah.
Ryan,
so I mean,
I was going to say Ryan was one of the assistants, and one of the trainers on the team I actually dated for a little while, and then I made the mistake of wearing my Buddy Hield jersey to a West Virginia game in Morgantown.
Why'd you do that?
Well,
you had like so many chances.
Everybody told me I had to, and I was like, these guys have been pretty cool all weekend. And it's not like I was treated incorrectly. I just had too many shots of moonshine from West Virginia fans that were like, oh, no, wearing the other jersey, you're supposed to do this. And then you take 10 more steps, and there's another person that's like, oh, we saw you wearing this Oklahoma jersey. You need a moonshine.
It's literally only West Virginia fans that live there. Like,
no doubt.
Not like you like went to a Longhorns game and like, you know, it's Austin. There's a lot of different people. Like, bro, that's the only thing West Virginia's got.
Yep. Yeah, no, we adapted Troy into our fan base, and I'm a closet OK State fan just because of Gundy. So it's my two favorite teams. Obviously, I hope Oklahoma State loses this weekend. This is the one game I will root against them. But yeah, no, we adapted Troy, and both teams need the game, man, because I think the winner of this game is going to have the inside track to potentially get to Dallas with the schedules that they have. I mean, Oklahoma State's schedule is a joke outside of Bedlam down the stretch.
Mike Gundy wrote the schedule himself, I'm convinced.
Yeah,
when you look at it and you see no Texas on there, but then you see Oklahoma beats them, and then there's a chance to beat Oklahoma and at least get there in the loss column. If they slip up again, Gundy gets Texas in the Big 12 championship.
Dude, we own Texas. He owns them. They've only beaten us in Austin once since 2010. Yeah. And Gundy owns those frauds.
Well,
Like I was shocked that we weren't on their schedule because I was like, Gundy typically gives them the biggest fit of the year every time they come to town. And listen, the enemy is my friend. So I root for Texas whenever they play Oklahoma. But outside of that, it's like whenever we play them, it's a done deal. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's like K-State with Oklahoma. K-State always beats Oklahoma.
I
was also going to say the same thing kind of applies to the game of the week in terms of if this game was in Stillwater, I think West Virginia has a better chance of winning. But they haven't beat them in Morgantown in 10 years. Oklahoma State goes to Morgantown and kind of whips them and then leaves Morgantown.
Last year definitely wasn't the best year for us. That's for sure. It was funny. I actually talked on another podcast. So my girlfriend has 2 degrees from Florida State, right? Total different atmosphere from Oklahoma State. She'd never been to a game at Oklahoma State still. But whenever I first started dating her last year, she was like, so is Oklahoma State like actually good? And at this point we had K-State on Saturday. And I was like, hell yeah. We're so free. We're like number 9 in the country. We got it. And then we got smoked 48-0. And it was all downhill from there. And I was like, dude, I don't know. I was like, this is wild. This is too much for me.
Yeah. It's going to be a wild one Saturday. Keaton, we know you're a busy guy. So final predictions for Saturday, final predictions for Bedlam, because that is in 2 weeks. And how do you see the season shaking out for the Cowboys coming down the stretch?
That's in 3 weeks.
You have a bye week. It's weird right now.
We play West Virginia, then we have Cincinnati for homecoming, then it's Bedlam.
Yeah, it's because you're in a weird situation schedule wise where you got 4 out of 5 at home, and this is kind of the odd one road game sandwich in. So I don't know.
Our road game's at Houston. Do you have any tips?
Don't go up a Hail Mary.
Dude, for as many people as y'all had in that, with as much distance between West Virginia and Houston, y'all still were majority of fan base there.
Yeah, well, Houston's fan base is a joke right now. I don't know what's going. I don't know if they're boycotting. They don't want Dana, whatever it is. I had a bad feeling about the game just because of Dana, and obviously the history of West Virginia. So, but yeah, it was a game the Mountaineers gave away. It is what it is.
For my final prediction, I don't know. I suck at final predictions. But listen, it could go one of 2 ways in my opinion, because I think West Virginia is actually legit. And 2 weeks ago, when we were just the worst team you could imagine in college football, I was gunning for West Virginia. I was like, screw it. Let the Mountaineers win the conference. That would be freaking hysterical. Couches will be on fire. It would be awesome. But when it goes up in the air, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see it being close. The last time we were in Morgantown, I think we shut y'all out.
24-3. Yeah, it basically was a shutout.
24-3. Yeah,
you guys were old. You guys were good that year. That was your
tried to
Big
dress
12,
it up a little bit.
The 1 yard short year. Yeah.
I was literally at every single game that year. It was insane. But yeah, I mean, I could see it either being 27-24 either way. God, I don't know. So I feel like 27-24 either way sounds decent, right? I mean, that's what Vegas is predicting.
Yeah, it opened at 3.5, then went to 2.5, back to 3.5. So it's been around 3.
Just bet both exact scores and you're in.
Dude, we were just talking about you live for so long.
Yeah. Don't even get me started, Keaton.
And it's only a 4-person, so we had to drop your mom to get you in here. So yeah.
I want to beat you guys now. I want to beat you guys so bad after that one.
Ryan just told me he thinks it's going to be 70-0 Oklahoma State. What's your score prediction, Rush?
27-21. Good guys. West Virginia.
Dude, see, I'm telling you. I said 27-24 either way.
Should be a good one.
Yeah, Mountaineers are going to get it done. I'll give out my official prediction on Thursday. You got to tease it out later in the week. So,
dude, I hate teasing. I'm head first. Let's get it done with.
No, if we didn't have another episode, so Keaton, appreciate you coming on the Big 12 college experience. We got to have you back, maybe for Bedlam.
Jesus, that's
see. You don't know, but Bedlam for me. So my dad played at Oklahoma State. My grandpa played at Oklahoma. My mom went to Baylor. So
he's all
over the place.
I
same way.
I just sit there and like watch football, and I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. I can't believe all these teams are.
Which one of your
finally
family
good.
members went to Oklahoma?
My grandpa.
I hate him.
Yeah, he sucked.
I knew you were going to say that. So
They're like green eggs and ham to me, but I appreciate it, though.
Keaton from OKSTProbs, go over there. Go check out their good content. Doing good work over there. Covering Coach Gundy, the GOAT, at OKSTProbs. Keaton, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely have you back, brother.
Absolutely. Peace.
See ya.
See you later,
Have a good one,
Keaton.
brother.
All righty, Keaton from the OKSTProbs. That was great. That was one of our better ones so far this year. So he's on 27-20. He didn't really give out who he thought was going to win. I think he said Oklahoma State in the end. But I mean, he kind of used the game like us, Rush, where like West Virginia is his second favorite team. So he's an Oklahoma State guy, just like we're West Virginia guys.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
were-
like if
you
we're gonna
were
go
off.
down, yeah,
You were off when he was talking about visiting Morgantown and was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's really funny that he brought up Florida State because, Jimbo is probably one of the bigger Florida State fans with his dad has been, 200 or something FSU games in his life or something like that. So yeah, it's a different crowd for sure. Like the West Virginia and Stillwater crowds mesh really well.
Oh yeah, I think it goes back
Culture.
to the Big 12. Yeah, exactly.
Culture.
That's
Yeah,
Big
do
12.
a keg stand, you bitch.
I mean, I love it. I've been out to Stillwater once. It's cool. I like Oklahoma. I like it a lot. But
I will say I will do our official predictions on Thursday. But with that half, the 3.5, they're not trying to trick you into betting Oklahoma State. This is a 3-point game that they know is going to get bet down to like 2.5.
We'll see. I think it's going to
I think 27-24 is pretty close.
Yeah.
well, what scares me is the whole thing fade the line movement. Because what? It was 2.5, right? And now it's up to 3.5. Why?
Yeah. I mean, you probably just looking at it from the outside looking in with Oklahoma State, 2 emotional home wins, where
It's 3
especially
on
that
the money. That's why.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And then West Virginia's coming off a loss. So they're
Yeah,
basically
makes
saying
sense.
teams are even, West Virginia at home, but they're coming off a loss. So, yeah. I mean, weather's going to be bad too, so probably favors the Mountaineers.
Yeah.
We'll fly around the Big 12 on the other side, but first we got to talk about Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fastest, easiest way to buy tickets for all music, comedy, and a theater near you. Last-minute killer deals with last-minute tickets. Best price guaranteed. Stop stressing. Get over to Game Time. Don't plan for months in advance because you got Game Time with exclusive flash deals for football, basketball, baseball, and concerts near you. If you find tickets in the same section for less, the Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time is awesome. Use it out there in Vegas for UNLV Hawaii game. Download the Game Time app, create an account, code CFBX, $20 off first purchase. Terms apply again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter with the NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer with all the historical data. Enter any parlay into the Hall of Fame Bets, and they'll break down each probability of each leg so you know which one you're getting the best value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching the Hall of Fame Bets. Craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app, hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're back on the Big 12 College Experience, talking Mountaineers, Cowboys. We've dove into the Mountaineers side enough in the past. Let's go around the Big 12. Baylor and Cincinnati, both teams need a win. Baylor off a bye, early line at 3. This game is fucking disgusting. Troy, what's your headline here going to this fucking game?
I thought last week that there was a chance that Emory Jones would be an equal quarterback to Becht.
Me too.
At his best, he could be an equal.
He's fucking awful.
I might think the same thing this week. Like there's really not that big of a difference between him and Blake. But again, don't let Emory Jones be the one that takes your money. Go find a fucking 15-1 crazy ass long shot and bet on that instead, because Emory Jones blows.
Rush, you got anything in terms of Emory Jones?
Yeah, so we'll do our records update on Thursday, of course. Another good week for me. Obviously the West Virginia one hurts, but my only other loss, got my tease, got my underdog, got my lock, got the other 3 games, is I forced it. I made a mistake, and that mistake was what Troy just said. I for one game I put my faith in Emory Jones, and I will never do that again. So you guys have a feeling, and then Baylor's coming off the bye too. So you all know how I'm leaning in that game.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's following. I'm the number 1 tally site picker in the damn land, according to the analytics. I'd be even higher if I would stop fucking picking Emory Jones. So I will not be picking Emory Jones again until maybe Thursday. But I don't know. I probably lean Baylor. I don't know.
My overall picks record ain't great, but the fact that Emory Jones has been a favorite a few times, and the fact that West Virginia has been a big underdog a few times, we are up 100%. Yeah. So thank you, Emory Jones.
We've made money 100%.
Yeah, especially with our 33-1 in week 2. Speaking of teams that make money, Oklahoma's cover every goddamn game, it feels like. All right, here we go. We got a little bit of familiarity going here with John Rice Plumlee taking on Dylan Gabriel, the former UCF Fairy Golden Knight quarterback. Offensive coordinator Levy as well was at UCF.
Yep.
This is a tricky game, Troy. I'm telling you right now. I think this is going to be an interesting spot with Plumlee coming back.
I mean, the 19 might be a little too much, but I'm starting to think that the Oklahoma team is 16-0 against the spread, or 6-0 against the spread.
I was like, damn.
Dang, they're crushing it. No, I think they're 6-0 against the spread because Brent Venables knows if he covers spreads, the boosters are going to keep him around and he gets to coach in the SEC.
James Franklin.
So I'm not overthinking this one either. Bye week, again, Oklahoma fans crushed it on Twitter. Just total hate everywhere. I think they're going to draw that in. I could see this one getting to 21 though, or like 20.5. And at 19, I think Oklahoma covers, but I think it's a score-a-thon. I think it'll be, UCF might even get to 31, but maybe like 27, 29, and Oklahoma just continues to roll.
Yeah, curious how Plumlee plays in this game as well. I think that's the difference. Obviously, the spread would be different, of course, too. But even if whatever points he's accounting for in the spread, I would take Oklahoma. He definitely puts a question in this. You got to think about it for a second, and then of course on the opposite end too, it's maybe how healthy really is he coming back? Is this a little rushed him coming back? So definitely curious to see how he's going to play, because we all know who UCF plays the following week. So we'll be doing a little scouting there for West Virginia, Ryan. But yeah, he's the X factor in that game.
Yep. And Timmy's on Oklahoma. He says they're going to hang a 50 burger on him. So Timmy's on the Sooners.
So 31-50 would be exactly 19. So don't let that spread go up, guys. Don't let that spread go up.
Speaking of numbers that are way up, Texas going to Houston, laying almost 20-4. My God, I know they're coming off a loss, and Houston's coming off the Hail Mary win. This is Dana. Dana owns Texas. So the spot probably favors Texas, but fuck that. I am not taking Texas on Thursday. I will be on Dana. Maybe I'll sprinkle on the money line by Thursday. Rush, what do you think of this game?
So the question here is, can Dana get up for a second Super Bowl? And I don't know.
What's the crowd going to be like too?
Oh, it's don't exactly. I wouldn't assume. It's like when an NFL team like the Steelers play in Las Vegas. It's like, don't factor it in for home. Of anything, factor that in for the home crowd of the other team.
That's why I said it.
So that's what we have here. I guess you got Texas is coming off the bye. I guess Houston did have some extended rest with them playing Thursday, but I'm lean unless we get another 3-4 points here in the next 48 hours. I might, even with the spreads big, I might be leaning towards Texas in this. I hate it, but just is what it is.
Let me pose a question to both of you guys. In a head-to-head pick, are you taking Rice or Houston?
They played.
Yeah, I picked Rice.
Right, Rice beat him at Rice.
Yeah.
And who did Texas not cover against?
Rice. and Wyoming. I'm telling you right now, Wyoming would have beat them that night. After watching Peasley the last couple of weeks, Texas fans are so lucky.
I've probably sent you that text message at least 4 or 5 times, just out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, this is bullshit. Wyoming would have beat these guys with
Peasley. No doubt.
It's brought up once every Saturday. It somehow comes up.
Yeah.
I do think because the number, what was it against Rice? It was 35.5 or something, and Rice lost by 27.
Yeah.
So I think
That was at Texas, though, and this one's at Houston for whatever Houston's worth.
I mean, this is just a different group of Texas fans that aren't in Austin.
A bunch of fucking fairies.
Just because that number is at 23.5, I still think they would cover. But if it gets above 24, I would be worried.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll preview it on Thursday. This game, arguably, kind of the most game that doesn't fit the slate in random game. Texas Tech going out to Provo. Question marks at the quarterback position for the Red Raiders. Morden banged up. They may go with the freshman there in Lubbock. On the other side, you got BYU. Got absolutely embarrassed. Slovis had his worst game by far. Rush, is this a good bounce back spot for BYU and Provo?
It's a great bounce back spot, but the way the line movement's telling me is I don't know how healthy BYU is going to be, especially in the secondary and especially on defense. BYU's biggest problem is they can't run the ball. And, if you don't turn that over, you're fine. I mean, we saw it in the Kansas game. You don't have 3 turnovers there. BYU wins that game, and they might win it pretty well. They felt like they were kind of in control of that whole game. But I think this started as 2. Now it's 4.5. So that tells me some people are out. When I predicted this game to start the season with Colby, and I think I predicted it on here as well, this game felt like I've always, in the back of my head, said this game is going to be 31-28 Texas Tech BYU. I always felt like it was going to be one of those games where BYU was in control the whole time. They lead every stat but the final score. And something tells me this could be one of those games where BYU leads the whole game, kind of like us against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma didn't lead till it said 0-0 at the end. I could kind of see that being a game like this here, but I got to think on this one a little more. It's weird. There's that 4.5 line. I don't like that, and I'm trying to figure out which way I don't like it.
It's no man's land.
So Rush, there's I would assume there's no sports gambling in Utah.
No.
Because I was going to say the Cincinnati BYU line also had some weird, wacky movement to it, and we thought that one stunk. And this is not the first time that there's been line movement around BYU, and we're thinking that maybe the QB's not healthy and whatnot, and then Slovis comes out and lights Cincinnati up.
Yeah.
Home dog.
Yeah.
In Provo
too.
Yeah.
And we've seen Texas Tech struggle in Wyoming.
How much better is Texas Tech than Cincinnati, though?
With quarterback injuries, not much.
I kind of lean to BYU too, just because they got embarrassed and they're back in Provo. But I mean, this probably, if you're saying like confidence, this is down there. It's not that high.
Yeah, and I want to say this about BYU because I tried to make this point last week, but I want to solidify this point now. Yes, this could be a bounce back spot for BYU. But that TCU game for BYU, just don't overthink it. It's just their kryptonite. Like every team has that one team where it's like they just never beat these guys. That was just that's BYU's. Just don't. In terms of the other way, it is a good bounce back spot for them. You can think of it like that. But in terms of is BYU just absolutely atrocious? No, they're not. That just don't consider that game when thinking about BYU because they never beat TCU. And that's what I tried to tell everyone last week. So just trying to solidify that point.
Speaking of TCU, this is a rematch of the Big 12 championship in the Little Apple here. We got a battle of young quarterbacks all of a sudden. I wonder if Ace is sold on Avery Johnson now after this.
I tweeted at him. He was fired up. He's like, forget everything I said. Let's go. I'm like,
dude, that was it. I mean, when I texted you guys, said they got to get him out. He's terrible. He can't throw. Well, then he ran for 5 touchdowns. So I said, well, he still can't throw, but he can run for 5 touchdowns. he throws for 5 touchdowns. Hoover throws for 4 touchdowns. Maybe TCU's just better without Chandler Morris, man. Like all of a sudden, Chandler Morris goes out and they're hanging 40 again, like they did last year. This is going to be a game. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is not. I don't think this is a loser leaves town game, but this is the winner of this game is like, oh moving shit, we thought they were. Yeah, this is like, oh shit, we thought that we weren't going to have to worry about this team. Yeah, we thought they were dead. And the next thing you know, this is that game. I'm excited for this one. Yeah. As someone that does not have a dog in the fight here and actually likes and respects both programs, I'm excited. The Battle of the Purples.
Me too.
This is definitely one where you look at that 6.5 right away and you think that might be 2 times too high. Like a 3.5 or a 3 or something like that would make a little bit more sense. Just this early in the week, obviously not knowing anything that's going to develop, but
this is a go to overtime and Kansas State wins by 6.
This is a pick which coach is better game.
Well, full disclosure, it opened at 7.5, and I bet TCU right away. I said that thing is going below 7, so I have 7.5 at 6.5.
For you.
I think that's right. I think I'm with you guys. I think this is a game that comes right down to the wire. I don't see this being a blowout. It wasn't a blowout at all last year. Those two teams freaking battled twice.
No,
and TCU's want to get revenge from Dallas.
You're probably going to see this game actually be like the over/under being at 59. I think is a little too inflated just because of their touchdown stats the week before. This is going to be the game that you see mistakes from the younger guys that are in there because they waited this long in the year until they gave guys a chance like this. I think you're going to see mistakes, and I think it's going to be on both sides of the ball, and that's going to be what keeps it close.
I'm assuming there's a prop bet for this, but this game just feels like overtime.
Yeah, it could happen.
Like this game just, especially that 59 where overtime starts at the under, but then overtime's what gets you to the over. If I got to get better at my DraftKings app. I'm usually just betting spreads and money lines, but I got to search the depths of it to see if there's an overtime bet because that's my prop bet. This game's going to overtime.
K-State wins by 8 in double overtime, and I don't cover.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Or Kansas State wins by 6. Yeah, it's going to be
for somebody that has 7.5. The only way you lose in overtime is the 2-point conversion. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I do agree. I think this is going to be a game. Can't wait to dive into this thing on Thursday. But shit, guys, we got another show here coming up in 5 minutes. Go check us out over at the College Basketball Experience because you know who the fuck best damn league in the land. It's a Big 12, baby.
And this one's no debate.
No, not even close, especially with who we may add in the future. So Big 12 Basketball Media Day is tomorrow. So, yeah, have a little bit of a recap there. And, we will we'll be over at the College Basketball Experience here in 5 minutes. So go join us with Pick Dundee. And Russ, tell everybody where to find you and what we got going on.
Hopefully my Wi-Fi doesn't cut out because then you can't find me anywhere. At Rambling Rush, Twitter and Instagram. Follow the Ryan and Rush show when that's not being. Well, I make it a 3-peat. The question is on this college basketball.
The Russians are hacking us.
Yeah, someone's hacking us. It's getting there. But, of course, the Ryan and Rush show as well, where Ryan and I talk the more West Virginia side of things.
You guys can always find me on the X at Troy Chewning, the full name, TroyChewning. And I think I'm doing enough groundwork that there's a few of the other SGPN shows they're going to start inviting me on, which will be kind of fun because as a Dallas Cowboys fan that hates Dak Prescott.
Hey, good win last night.
A lot of funny content. Oh, yeah. Do you think it was funny how everyone gave Mike McCarthy shit for making the clock run down to 3 seconds because he knew Dak Prescott's so dumb that there's a chance that he could have thrown the ball to the other team? And everybody else in the NFL this week, balls to the wall. We're going for it every 4th down. Fat Mike's like, no, we're taking 3 points. This is pretty good for our team. Fat Mike made it work, baby.
Fat Mike covered for me last night. That's all that I cared about.
Yeah,
so it was an emotional hedge. Fuck the Cowboys, but yes, I took them. They never lose 2 in a row. They always just stay right there like Texas, so that they
what
can
a
come
ref
down
show
and break
though.
your heart.
22 penalties. Holy shit!
That game was it was a great game. Well, besides the ref part, of course, but that game last night, everyone knew how that was playing out. I felt like
it was two teams that don't want to win.
Exactly.
The announcers talking about how the Cowboys have absolutely no sacks and haven't had a 0-sack game in X amount of weeks, right as Micah Parsons just blows by a dude and lights up Justin Herbert. Total rig. And Jerry Jones is always in on the rig. So
yeah, I'm glad at least your guys' first round pick gets home when it matters, because Chase Young is M-fucking-I-A when it matters. So we'll see you guys. Yeah, fuck. Don't even get me started. Go check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. I'm sure I'll have some content when I probably pick the Giants tomorrow. So we'll be back to dive into this Week 8 slate. And don't forget to let it ride and see you over at the college basketball experience.
Could have gone to Penn State. His name was Chase Young.